Hi everyone, Letty here. Today I'm going to share with you another craft with me video where we use September 2021 Club EP box. We're going to make project number 2. We're making a 6x6 Trifold mini album. So again, that was September 2021 Cutapart Club EP. It's a bi-monthly crafty subscription. This month they are featuring the fall collection by Cutapart. Project number 2 is going to be a 6x6 Trifold mini album. We're going to be using the 6x6 pad and some of the embellishments as well to make this project. So again, that was fall collection. We will be pulling these papers out in just a second. First, let me show you a quick example. So this was something that was inspired by Tiffany, who is Let's Get Scrappy here on YouTube and Instagram. I am just using last year's Simple Stories collection for this sample. You can see here with the vellum pocket. I had seen it on her channel and I thought it was just a great idea. So I will link her video down in the description box below for the tutorial that she shared. And then if you continue watching, I'll show you a tutorial on this exact same project with a couple of little spins that I put on it. So first thing you're going to do is take out 6 sheets of your 6x6 paper pad. And this is an excellent project to use up these little 6x6 paper pads. You can also use 12x12 sheets. You'll just have to cut them down to size. But these 6x6 kind of work out perfectly. So just take out 6 sheets. So I took out 6 of the ones that I'm going to end up using right here. Okay, and we'll come back to that in just a second. First thing, let me also show you the additional items you'll use. So we're going to use some solid colored cardstock. I'll show you the dimensions in a bit. We're going to use a base cardstock, which I'm using craft paper. You're going to need this small piece that's 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then I'm going to use a piece of vellum to make some pockets. And this piece of vellum is 3 by 12. And then you're going to use a base cardstock, which is 12 by 12. So these are the items I'm going to use in addition to what comes in this kit this month. So let's first make the base of the actual album itself. So first take your 12 by 12 sheet of the thicker kind of cardstock that you'll be using for your base and just cut it at 6 inches. So you're going to end up with 2 pieces that are 6 by 12. So, and then next we're going to go ahead and score all of our base pieces. So take out those 2 pieces that are 6 by 12. And on the very first one, your scores are going to be at 6 inches and at 6 1/4. So again, on this very first one, your scores are at 6 and 6 1/4 on the 12-inch side. So it's going to look just like that. And then take the second piece and you're going to score at 6 and 6 1/8, which is the smallest notch on that scoreboard for the most part. So 6 and 6 1/8. So you can see there kind of sort of where one's a little bit wider than the other. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you do it in person, you'll see it. Then you're going to score the flip. This is on the 3 3/4 side. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So again, on the 3 3/4 piece or side, go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch. So let's assemble that base. So let me just show you a quick example. The way that I'm breaking it down is by having 3 different sizes of mats and also papers. And so I have a section that is a large, I have a section that's a medium, and then I have the little flaps that are small. So that's how I'm going to kind of map out all of my measurements in terms of small, medium, and large. So first thing we'll do is we're going to go ahead and fold all of those score lines to finish making that base. And you're going to want to fold the flip piece on the right side up. And then you can just angle cut the 2 little flap ends only up to the score line, just like this. Then we're going to go ahead and fold and score all of our scores on our base pieces. So you'll have the first one, which had that 1/4 inch kind of spine. It'll look just like this. And you'll notice that it's a little bit offset. You don't have even sides because we have one that's a little bit shorter. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same with the second piece, which will have a 1/8 inch spine, just like this. So it looks similar to the other one. And again, you'll have just a little bit of offsetting on the one side. So you have your piece number 1 and you have your piece number 2. And piece number 1, again, has that 1/4 inch spine and the other one has a 1/8 inch spine. So take that first piece and make sure you put the 6-inch side to the left. So you notice there I had a smaller side in the middle. And then on your second piece, you are going to want to use the 6-inch side and then put it right behind the middle section. So you see how there's a little bit of an overlap there. Flip it around because it makes it easier to glue it. And you're basically going to use any type of wet glue. I'm using Barely Art wet glue. Glue the right side of the first piece down to the left side of the second piece, which again is going to be that 6-inch side. You see here, I'm showing you. And then you'll go ahead and just glue it straight down, only up to the score line that you had on that first piece. So you don't want to overlap on the score. So when you close it, you'll have the 1/4 inch spine on the left and you'll have the 1/8 spine on the right, just like this. Just like that. So you have 3 sections. This is what's going to make your trifold. So next we're going to go ahead and glue in the flip, and you'll glue it on the left-hand side. You see how you'll have that little flip section down? You'll just add glue to the bottom, the outside section only of the little flap of the flip, and then you'll go ahead and glue it down to the center left side of your album, just like this. And the neat things about these albums is you can put flips and flaps and whatever you want, anywhere you want. I'm following very closely with Tiffany's tutorial on this one. I'm just putting the flap on the left side. So here is our 6x6 Trifold mini album base. We have it ready to go. So next, we're going to go ahead and talk about the cardstock mats. So I've already pre-cut them off camera, but I did want to show you the measurements and go through each one. So I've got 2 small pieces, which are 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Those are going to be for the flip section, okay? So, and these cardstock mats are going to leave a 1/16 inch border all the way around. So it's not very much, it's very subtle, but it does have a cute little border all the way around. So you see a little bit of that base section. So that was a small section. Next, we're going to have a medium section, which is going to be 5 3/4 wide by 5 7/8 high. And that is going to be the mat for that last section on the far right, both the front and the back, just like this. So that's your medium section, because they're slightly different dimensions. And then your large sections are the 2 in the middle and the 2 on both the front and the back. And that is going to measure 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. It's a perfect square. So, and again, that is your large, and you will need 4 of these because you have 2 in the front and you have 2 in the back, whereas you only have 2 mediums and 2 smalls. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue down our cardstock mats. I'm going to start with the inside. Now, one thing I will mention, and Tiffany mentions this in her video too, if you're going to do a pull tab, you'll want to glue that down first before adding this little small mat. I am not putting a pull tab on my little flap, and I'll show you in a little bit later about how you can do it. Again, another option for the pull tab, but I'm not adding one. I'm just going to go ahead and glue down my mat. So you start with the small one. You've got the next 2 middle sections are going to be larges. So I'm pulling out my large mats. And it's okay to write on these mats so you don't kind of get mixed up, because you're going to end up covering it with paper anyway. And then your medium is the one on the far right. So you've got a small, 2 large, and a medium. Just like this. So again, small, 2 large, and 1 medium. That's the inside of the album itself, okay? So now let's go ahead and close our album so we can add a ribbon closure. Now this is not something that I added on my sample, but I am going to add it on camera on this one so I can show you. So you just choose a ribbon that you want to use. I pulled out a few of my fall kind of theme color ribbons. I really like this one with this kind of plaid print that I got from Dollar Tree. I think I got it last year. I think it works perfectly with the colors that are in this collection. So you just trim off a section of the ribbon for both the front and the back flap. I'm trimming off probably around 14 or 15 inches. I don't have an exact measurement. You basically can cut off as much as you want depending on what size or what style of ribbon you use. And again, this was a ribbon I got from Dollar Tree. So you see there the Greenbrier International logo. And then what you'll do is you'll go ahead and add some glue adhesive to the front and the back and glue those ribbons down. Now, I do recommend using tape runner for this. I feel that it's just a quicker stick, and so I don't have to worry about letting it set, not for this ribbon. And I tend to feel that it works a little easier with ribbon than wet glue does. But you could also use a hot glue gun. You can use whatever adhesive you have. You are going to put several layers on top of this, so it's probably will be okay. So you're going to just add it to the front and the back when your album is closed. So you see here we have our front and then we have our back as well. So then we're going to go ahead and just finish gluing the solid pieces down. Again, the front and the back are those 2 middle sections. So they have large cardstock mats. So you're going to use a large on the front, and then you'll also use a large in the back, because you see there it is the middle section. So a large and a large on the front and the back. Just like this. Now I can go ahead and finish putting in the rest of the cardstock mats on the remaining pieces. So I'm going to put that medium on that far right panel, which is kind of that inside flap, and then the smaller inside flap. And here is where I show you can do another pull tab just right there. You go ahead and just glue it on one side and add your second small mat right over it of the cardstock. I am not adding one, but you absolutely can. Tiffany does add them in her video, and I think they look great. I just didn't want to add it on this one. So next we're going to go ahead and get our papers ready. We're going to cut them down to size. I'll show you in just a second. So this is what the full foundation looks like in each of the different pieces, the sizes, the edges, the spines, and then of course our ribbon closure. So take out those 6 sheets of the 6x6 paper. The first thing you're going to want to do is decide which one you want for your cover and for your back, for the back part of the album. So I'm kind of putting them in front and seeing what I like best to go with that ribbon. And then of course the cardstock mat. And I did choose blue for my cardstock because there's touches of blue in this paper and I thought it went great. So the large papers are going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Make sure you save your scraps. Those are great for some little scrap cards later on. And so here is where I'm going to go ahead and just glue down that large mat. And I will have a list of all the dimensions that I'm cutting down in the description box below. In case I'm going a little too fast, you can definitely just check that out and you'll be able to see the actual dimensions. So I've glued down my front cover. You can see there where you see just a touch of the blue. Now I'm going to do the one for the back part of the album, which again is a large size. So it's 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. This is a perfect square, so you don't have to worry about cutting the wrong dimension, the wrong orientation. So you just go ahead and glue that down. And I try to stay as close to the edge as possible. This wet glue, this Barely Art wet glue has a precision tip, so it makes it very easy. And there you go. That's our back. You see there's just a tiny little border of the blue popping out, just adding a little bit of extra dimension there. Now we're going to go ahead and choose the remaining papers that we want on each of the remaining panels. I'm starting with the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out how I want my 3 inside panels to look. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut them down. And again, the 2 middle sections are larges. So those are, again, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And it's a perfect square, so it doesn't matter how you cut the orientation, it's going to be the same. And then again, just save the scraps. So then I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. Super straightforward. And this project is such a great project because you could use any paper collection for this and basically turn this into any season, any reason type of album. There are so many gorgeous prints that come in this collection kit. So this album, you know, is great for fall and looks gorgeous, but you could make it your own with any type of paper. So next we're going to go ahead and do the medium side of the panel, which has slightly different dimensions. Let me show you these. So medium papers are going to be 5 3/4 high. So it's the same height as the other ones, but the width is different. That's 5 5/8. So again, that width is 5 5/8. So it's just slightly different than the other ones. And here's where your orientation is going to matter. So make sure you're cutting it to where it's 5 3/4 high by 5 5/8 wide. So you see there where that pattern had the words, that definitely was going to make a huge difference if I cut that wrong. So you definitely want to make sure you're cutting it correctly based on the orientation on that one. And again, I will list all of the dimensions in the description box below, and I will list them out as small, medium, and large, just as I'm showing you in this video. I like to keep things simple, so to me, that's what makes sense. So that's how I'll show you, and I'll list them down in the description box below. So I'm just going to glue these 2 mats on. And again, having that little bit of blue pop out. Loving the blue in this little collection. And there we have that. Now your small papers are going to be the 3x4 Cutaparts, and we'll pull those into the mix in just a bit. Next, let's go ahead and make our pockets. Now I'm using vellum, and my vellum pocket is going to be 3 inches wide or high. You can do the height you want. I'm just using 3 inches, and your width is going to be the same size as the paper. So your large is 5 3/4, and your medium is 5 5/8. So again, I'm just cutting them to the same width as the paper that I just now cut just a second ago. So 5 3/4 and 5 5/8. And then this is optional. You don't have to do this. I like to notch out a little using my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board. I like to notch out the center. I just really like the look of that, but you could also just use some circle punches to notch out a half circle in the middle, or you could just leave it just as is without any kind of notching. So Now let's go ahead and glue down the pockets. Now, one tip that I'll give is I try to stay as close to the edge with just a very thin line of glue, especially when using vellum, because with vellum, it does kind of see through a bit. You don't see it as much with a lighter background like this one. This one has a whitish background, but you can still see a little bit. So I would just try to keep as close to the edge. And again, this Barely Art wet glue is perfect because it has that precision tip. You can really just have just a little bit of small line of glue and it works perfectly. And you saw there where I showed you, it turns it into the little pocket. So we're going to glue those down. This is what it looks like up front or up close. Super easy. And you can also do vertical pockets. In Tiffany's video, she does do a vertical pocket here. So you can definitely check her video out. You can see what the difference would look like. Okay, so now let's go ahead and decorate. I've gone ahead and I've pulled out all of the items that I want to use. I'm using Cutaparts and I'm using some of the embellishments to do this project. You'll see here where I'm decorating. I took out, again, Cutaparts, ephemera, chipboards, enamel dots, stamped images. Those leaves are stamped and colored images that I had stamped and colored and fussy cut out. I had mentioned in my first video that I prepped several items off camera, and that was one of them because I figured it would make these projects go so much quicker. And so you'll see here where I'm tying in a lot of those stamped and colored images into this project. And I think it really just adds an extra layer of kind of dimension to this. And I will have close-up pictures on my Instagram, which is Party Planner Papery. So definitely check that out. If you're not already following my channel on Instagram, definitely check it out. It's worth a check. I do post a lot of close-up pictures on there. I also sometimes post haul videos or haul snapshots, or sometimes when I'm at a store and I see something that you might like, I will take a picture and I'll post it on my Instagram as well. So definitely follow me on Instagram as well. So this little cover is coming together quickly. You see here I have also some little acorns. Those are also part of the stamped images that I colored and fussy cut out using that stamp set. That stamp set was really cute, by the way, from this collection, this kit this month. I think it was an exclusive for the kit, but it was super cute. So here we have our cover just about done. I'm going to add just some final touches with these enamel dots. I've mentioned this before. The EcoPark enamel dots are some of my absolute favorites, my favorite brand to use as far as enamel dots. And so I'm just adding in little clusters of 3. I feel like the odd number looks great. So my cover is completed. Here's a little close-up. You can see here I use a ton of different items from the kit. Now, let's go ahead and decorate the inside. Now, the small papers, again, are 3x4 Cutaparts. So I've already taken out some 3x4 Cutaparts that I thought would work great on the inside here. And so you see here where I'm just going to go ahead and finish matting these and add them. And when you're decorating, you could do this in any way, shape, or form that you want. If you would have preferred to decorate the inside first, you absolutely can. You don't have to even bulk up the cover the way that I did with some chipboard pieces. You could keep it flat. It's totally up to you. That's the beauty of this project is you make the base, the foundation with the paper, and then you can go to town as far as your decorations. And you see here, I did take out some more of those little stamped, colored, and fussy cut images that I had prepped before I had started my project number 1. So here I'm going to go ahead and stuff some pockets. And I did cut out some Photomats. These are just 4x6 pieces of the same craft cardstock. And then I rounded the corners at a 1/2 inch. And I did put 1 in each of the pockets. So this is perfect for an album. I did also add some little journaling cards, which are those 3x4 Cutaparts. So you could journal. You could add photos to the backs of those as well. The sky is really the limit on this one. You've got so many options. And I'm just, again, taking out those little stamped, colored, and fussy cut images that I had done off camera ahead of time. And these leaves were great because they are so easy to color because, as you know, leaves usually change color, especially in the fall. And so you can kind of go to town as far as just mixing the different colors on those leaves. And I think they just turn out so fantastic with the multiple colors. So here's what my inside looks like. Now I just have the back left to go ahead and decorate. I'm just going to add a very simple little piece of ephemera. And that completes our album. Up next is the recap. So this was September 2021, EcoPark Club EP. Project number 2 is a 6x6 Trifold mini album that we made on camera here using the fall collection by EcoPark. Super cute. And again, this was inspired by Tiffany, who is Let's Get Scrappy here on YouTube and also on Instagram. I will have close-up pictures on my Instagram, which is Party Planner Papery. So definitely check that out as well. And I will have a list of all of the measurements in the description box below, so that way you can go back and use them as a resource if you want to come back and make one of these or a ton of these, either way. So here was our mini album. Make sure you stay tuned for the remaining projects in this crafty series. I'm going to finish using up this kit. And I will have links down below for the unboxing and project number 1 videos as well. And again, all those measurements will also be listed in the description box below to make this album. Thanks for visiting, everyone. Hope you subscribe, like this video, follow me on Instagram, and as always, happy crafting.